Scott Tibbitts, space entrepreneur, innovator, visionary leader, founder of Starsis Research.
The experience of leading the company through explosive growth, it's a wild ride. It's as good as it gets for an entrepreneur.
Creating Starsis, a world leader in innovative devices for spacecraft, components keeping astronauts safe on the International Space Station, motors driving rovers for miles across the Martian desert, devices helping us explore every planet in the solar system, 350 spacecraft, 3,500 mechanisms, 0 failures, all started from an invention made from hardware store parts in a garage.
Big things come from very little starting places. I'm not a rocket scientist, and the fact that I started a space company doesn't mean that that was my background. It actually wasn't. I ended up being somebody that just knew that they wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just started making phone calls saying, I've got this really cool thing. You know, would you like to use it? And I called NASA. People had no business calling up and saying, hey, you want to see something cool? And NASA said yes. Next thing we knew, we were building large mechanisms as big as a football field and pointing systems and robots that crawled around Mars.
This is Scott Tibbitts.
I'm joined by Scott Tibbitts.
Who is Scott Tibbitts? How did you get started in the space industry?
Please welcome Scott Tibbitts.
You can go far before you realize that some of the leadership elements that are so critical to a company growing are not the things that are your strong suit.
We went through this incredible growth phase.
We got to be about $1.5 million company, and all of a sudden it leveled out. We couldn't understand why. It seemed like we couldn't grow any bigger than that.
What happens is the blind spots you have, these capabilities that you're missing, you don't see.
It was hugely freeing to realize that I could stop doing something I was just good at.
Stop doing what you're good at. As a business leader, there's things that you're great at.
Every one of you has something in you that is like knife through butter, and when you do it, when people see that, they go, how do you do it? And you say, I don't know, it's just easy. When you grow a company, or when you lead a company, or when you manage a company, you get to choose what's important to it, the corporate DNA, the culture.
This generation is very interested in balanced lives.
There's so much power in the whole idea of values like fun. You create a company of people that are leaders.
We became legendary for being the fun space company. This is the Vomit Comet. We made it a corporate mandate to get as many people as we could on the Vomit Comet.
We had the vomit pool. There's got to be a better name for this.
We created a matrix, kind of like March Madness, marked off when they were going to throw up. I think Rebecca's going to throw up on Monday and Thursday. Yeah, I don't think Jason's going to throw up at all.
When somebody gives you something, you want to give back. They're going to be thinking, what can they do? And we had examples of this that were just truly incredible.
I looked closely and I saw this little smudge.
Our logo was right there in the first picture back from Mars.
This is the best case of product placement that has ever been done.
The designer said, oh yeah, I did that about 3 years ago.
There's no way in God's green earth I could have directed that kind of result in the company. It was another case of family.
I believe in little nudges.
Boom, pop, 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 pop. All the pieces of the puzzle, this idea of this nudge that happened.
It's a whisper, it's an inkling, it's opportunity knocking, saying, hey, you know, maybe if you did this, some interesting things would come of it. You got to listen to those voices, because that voice that says maybe is the one that leads to amazing things.
Scott Tibbitts, leading at the edge. Adventures of a space entrepreneur. Connect with Scott at leadattheedge.com.